A Gold Star widow of a Marine killed in Iraq says the man accusing an Ohio congressman of ignoring sexual misconduct by an Ohio State physician exploited the memory of her late husband and intimidated her. Here's One America's Neil W. McCabe to explain.
Karen Mendoza is the widow of Ray Mendoza, who wrestled for Ohio State and who was killed in Iraq leading Marines. She told One America News that the Jim Jordan she knows is a man who always stood up for people who are being abused and exploited, whereas his lead accuser, Mike DeSabato, has bullied and intimidated her as she tried to stop him from exploiting her husband's legacy for his fundraising efforts.
I've known Mike DeSabato for over a couple of decades. He was my late husband's teammate at Ohio State.
Marine Major Ramon Mendoza was killed in 2005 by an anti-personnel IED 9 days into his leading an operation that cleared 600 buildings, discovered 16 weapons caches, and captured 300 insurgents. DeSabato established a charity at Ohio State in memory of his teammate. But after a few frustrating years, Mrs. Mendoza told One America News she went to court to stop DeSabato from raising money off her husband's death.
I've had a very exhausting, just stressful, aggressive engagement with Mr. DeSabato, and I've been bullied, intimidated, and threatened by him. I am the ultimate preserver of my late husband's legacy.
The Gold Star widow said she was not comfortable with how the money for the charity was being spent, and when she tried to find out what was going on, DeSabato lashed out at her.
And I tried to work amicably to come to a resolution, and it ended in a very volatile, aggressive, threatening manner.
One threat from DeSabato was passed to Mrs. Mendoza through her brother-in-law, she said.
You tell her if she does anything to me that I will up her entire miserable life, that it already is miserable.
When she heard that DeSabato was accusing Ohio Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of ignoring complaints regarding sexual misconduct by the Ohio State wrestling team physician, she saw Jordan getting a treatment DeSabato had given her and others, she said.
He has a cyclical pattern of making allegations, to have them thrusted in the media light, to cast down shadow and negativity toward his own personal agendas.
Mendoza said that when she and her husband were students together at Ohio State before they were married, then assistant coach Jimmy Jordan and his wife Polly invited them over for dinner. She said her late husband modeled himself after Jordan, and throughout their marriage they would always reflect back on how Jordan and his wife had coached them into starting a life and family together.
I felt compelled that I needed to take that risk and come forward and speak on Jimmy's behalf. The Jim Jordan that I knew as a college student to the woman and the widow that I am today never turned a blind eye to anything that was unjust, period. He looked at the problems, the adversaries, and questioned the why, asked the difficult questions and head forth into them to find the right answer and do what's the right thing. That is the Jim Jordan that I knew back then, that I know now, and I stand next to today.
Neil W. McCabe, One America News, Washington.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.